It's a very merry Friday. Welcome to Invisible Walls 189. No Shane this week. He's off being big boss guy and lunching with the high-ups. He would much rather be here, I'm sure. We have a interesting show today. We have a bunch of various cornucopia, if you will, of topics. We're going to crack on. Who's on the panel today? Well, we got Mike Damiani.
Hey, all.
We got the god that is Daniel Bloodworth.
Hey.
We've got the other Michael McWhirter.
Hello.
And we have Ryan Stevens.
That's me.
So let's crack it on. Okay, so you can tell it's a quiet week when the first topic is Dashboard December. Apparently, the 3DS has just had a firmware update. The Xbox had one.
Did the PS3?
No,
a week ago or something, 4.0.
But they don't have a different dashboard anymore, do they? I mean, it's the same dashboard as always. Yeah. So, Blood, you've been playing with the 3DS dashboard. What's different? Is it exciting? Should I be on the edge of my seat?
They don't really change the interface too much, so when you first update it, you might not be able to see what's different, but there are definitely some nice little tweaks in there. They've added this thing called Nintendo Zone, so if you walk into Nintendo hotspots, it'll like automatically download like videos and demos and stuff if you want. They also have the ability to record, I think they said up to 10 minutes of 3D video, which is pretty cool. And they have the ability now before, like when you went to your friends list, it was kind of lame. Like you couldn't actually do anything with it. You just looked at your friends that were online.
You could see what they're playing, right? And
that's now you can actually join the game if they're playing a game you have in the system. So that's nice.
And I understand is there achievements now or something, or accomplishments? Or
something?
So
the Street Pass, the internal Street Pass thing has got a real big overhaul. So there are a ton of achievements that you get by like walking by different types of people, walking by people from different regions, meeting like 100 people in a day, stuff like that, as well as like they've added a map so you can see not just the country people are from, but like that specific region of that country, of all the different people that you've met, as well as new puzzles and an all new Find Me Street Pass RPG.
So hats. Tell me about the hats.
There are hats.
You get hats in the RPG, so that's your rewards.
They added like 57 new ones. You can count them.
I
saw Daniel and I had like the Yoshi hat this morning.
Yeah, that's the first one.
I got there's a pirate hat I got, and then there's an Arwing hat that I just unlocked. So, but there's only 3 of like 57.
I approve of this update.
Yeah, like that list like got really huge. And the Find Me now, it has an overworld map, and it's got like branching paths and stuff. So you'd have to go back and play it a
what
few
color
times.
should I turn my shirt to?
Ooh, I don't know. There's some enemies now that have dual colored shields. Like there's a black and white shield now, and you have to like combo, and they have like a new ability to combo attack with people. So I don't know. They did a little bit. It's hooking. It hooks me, but I don't know. That might be the best game on 3DS right there.
It's funny. 2 people on this panel are looking at each other kind of uncomfortable while everybody else is like, "This is awesome." You can.
Well, I am kind of excited about the opportunity to get new hats, Marcus. I'm sorry.
I actually don't care about the hats so much. I just like Find Me.
I'm all alone in my hat hate. Is it a positive upgrade?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I haven't done anything that was like breaking or stupid or anything like that. It's just a lot of new little features.
Yeah, I had a minor heart attack because my screen stayed black for about a minute after the update finished, and I thought I might have like messed up my system, but it came back on all fine and stuff. Because I remember I heard the first time around some people's systems like didn't come back on, so scary moment. But
hey, so this accomplishments thing, did you spend much time looking at what's involved in that?
There are a lot
of them. There's like 78 of them available. Some of them they're tied to everything involving like the Mi Plaza stuff. So the games in there, or meeting people through Street or Spot Pass. I know you mentioned a few, Daniel. Like one I saw was getting 3 pieces of a puzzle, same that you already had. I think you mentioned to me like you had to meet or someone mentioned like you had to meet like 5 girls in a row. Or something weird like that.
There's a few of them that are very specific.
That is going to be a rare achievement.
I met a girl once.
And things.
Didn't like it.
Can you count the same girl 5 times in a row?
There are achievements for stuff like that too.
Yeah.
Megan.
Yeah. But I mean, there's some related to like the actual Find Me game, like you defeated this enemy, or you defeated. Yeah.
So, can you see other people's accomplishments?
That I have not been able to test yet because when I updated to it, no one else had the firmware. But
I don't think you can.
I don't know.
I mean,
like
I looked through it.
In the friends list, if they're playing it, you can't like use like the join game. You can't like I don't know. That might be something, but. Yeah, the whole comparison aspect of it, I don't know if it's there. It sounds like it's probably not.
Okay.
So overall, thumbs up, thumbs down. Good improvement. Nice, nice little pre-Christmas bonus.
Yeah,
thumbs up.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
All right, let's talk about the Xbox One. The update that went live on was it Tuesday? That turned my Xbox dashboard into a Windows 7 phone. I got to say, I'm not a big fan of the way Microsoft can, and I know it's like continually, but it's like this is the third update, the third dashboard update in, was it 6 years? They do it every 2 years, and they want to change it all up one more time. But I don't like the new update. It really does look like
I always hate them when they change them, and then I just, it's like boiling the frog. I just get used to it.
Yeah, it's just I'm not a big fan of the Windows because I've got a Windows phone as well, and just the way it works.
You have a Windows phone because they gave you one.
I have a Windows phone that they gave me. No, I don't have a Zune. No, I don't have
That's
a Zune.
not funny. Don't accuse someone of having a Zune.
Seriously,
Okay.
why would you do that?
I don't like you very much,
You cock.
but I love you.
No, it's they've added the cloud saves. Obviously, that's their big feature, and there's a whole how-to video on how to select your cloud saves and put
That's
them
actually
up.
useful for us.
But
That's
it's
very
a
useful.
Xbox Live Gold only feature.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's
That's pointing
it's
it
a
out.
pay-for
'cause
feature on
they
the
don't
PS3.
they don't tell you that till you go in and enable it and you're getting ready to use it and you try and save and it says, "Oh, I'm sorry, this is for Xbox
But
Live Gold members."
the big push on this update is apps, right? Like
Yeah.
we've had Netflix and Hulu and ESPN
Well,
for a
yes.
while.
Yeah.
But do they have Last FM on?
Yes, they
Xbox?
do.
I've never used that.
Last FM.
But now it's like a lot more stuff, I guess.
That's
well, it's funny
or
that
it's coming.
Yeah,
it's coming
it's
soon.
I haven't updated yet.
you go to the app section and there's the available apps, which are the ones we've already seen: Hulu, Netflix, blah blah blah. And then they have Coming Soon 1 and Coming Soon 2, where they've got HBO, they've got YouTube, NBC, or the Today Show.
Crackle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, why anybody would
They
want to
have
watch
Crackle?
fucking
Yeah, it's
That's
coming.
hilarious.
Kathy Lee
Yeah.
Griffin on their Xbox. But yeah, I just the other thing they've got is Connect Voice Chat, video chat. That's the downloadable app that I downloaded this morning. Fired up and realized none of my friends had Connect.
Have you tried like navigating like the marketplace or anything? Is that pretty similar? I mean, because that's honestly the only shit I ever do. Really, is I'll load up Hulu or something like that, but look for shit to download.
I mean, I'll
and,
admit, I only
maybe look at Friends once in a while.
I updated this morning because I've been on my PC for the last month playing Skyrim. So I updated this morning, got it plugged in, and I was actually trying to get the Connect functionality to work, where it's like it actually has a little tip in the bottom, say Xbox to start saying like Xbox off or whatever, or Wave to start going through stuff. Doesn't work. I mean, it did not work for me. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe I'm sitting too close to my television. Maybe the fact that I was just sitting there in my boxer shorts and all the fat was like sort of like just putting the scanner off. When I did say Xbox, it brought up the Bing search engine. And this is interesting if you're a Brit with an American Xbox trying to talk to your Connect to get it to search for you. Yeah, they don't really get the accent differential, so I think that's going to be a lot of fun moving forward.
Do you just try and do a good American accent imitation?
I can't do
And
an
if so,
American
can
accent
we
to
hear
save my
it?
life. I really
Really?
can't.
I've
No.
heard you. You're like, let's go to the baseball game.
Why, howdy, partner.
See?
That's about it. Yeah, I mean, I could do probably John Wayne from like 1960s, but no, I really can't do an American accent. It's one of those few ones I without being offensive. I mean, I'll do the other ones for comic effect. I mean, I can do a French one. Hello. Welcome to Invisible Walls. And that's about it. So yeah,
I have goosebumps.
We have to move that to the beginning of the show right there.
that's our new intro every week. Hello, my little gaming chums. So yeah, the Xbox One, I think it's cosmetic. I don't see why they update it now when half the apps still aren't available. It would have been perhaps a little more
But you don't
useful.
see anything so egregious that they'd ever roll it back. I mean, people are just going to have to live with this.
No,
right?
people are going to have to live with it just like they had before, because otherwise you don't get on Xbox Live. I don't like the new interface. I'm not a big fan of the Windows Phone interface anyway, and to see my my console move one more time.
I understand that the Netflix app has removed Watch with a Party.
Oh,
Really?
I'm not
Yep.
sure. I haven't.
That's what I saw that on Gaff the other day. Some people were making a little bit of a stink about that, but then a lot of people were like, "I never used that to begin with."
Yeah.
I've only ever used it once, and honestly, it's just kind of creepy.
Yeah, I haven't. I've never used it. I've never been like, "Hey, let's watch,"
Yeah.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer and talk about it as it's happening. But It just, I mean, it does suck when features are removed, but it doesn't seem like there have been too many people who are really that upset about it.
No, and it'll be cool when HBO goes on there and stuff as well. That is actually a good feature if you're a HBO subscriber. I mean, just being able to watch Game of Thrones or Boardwalk Empire and
Red Shoe Diaries.
Oh, yeah.
It's been 2 years since I killed the men responsible for Jenny's murder.
All right, next up, a game I saw at E3 last year, and I really wasn't very happy about. In fact, I kind of shat on it from a very great height. But Ryan, you've been off to play The Darkness 2 co-op.
Yeah, it's Vendettas is what they're calling it. It's
So-
a full co-op campaign.
And is this a proper co-op campaign, or is this horde
No, it's
mode?
a full co-op campaign. They're definitely spending some resources on it. 4 unique characters, all with unique abilities, talent trees, because everything's a fucking RPG now. It's definitely, if you've been following The Darkness, it definitely keeps that kind of vibe where it's little grindhouse with some kind of off-kilter jokes. Kind of make you grimace, kind of make you grin. I got to play it very briefly because we had to set up for interviews. Really short levels, lots of shooting, lots of abilities. One of the things that I found kind of interesting, though, is I was playing 2-player co-op, and it goes up to 4-player. And depending who you're playing as, and they have unique characters and whatnot, the chatter changes. So it kind of reminded me of kind of oddly enough Team Fortress. Like, if you happen to do weird certain scenarios, you'll get that certain sort of like little voice quips. They're really pushing that, at least in the interviews, even though the B-roll didn't really show it that much. But we only got to really see the beginning of the game, and it was a lot of destroying lights, destroying generators, and executing dudes and eating heart or destroying hearts. I like that. I like co-op. I like what Spec Ops did in Modern Warfare. I like what Uncharted does with these kind of unique experiences. I don't know. I got to give them credit for that. It just didn't really stick to me when I was actually playing it. It's the kind of scenario where they just throw a ton of enemies at you. There was some variation towards the end, but they also had our guys kind of powered up, so maybe that was part of it. But throwing out a black hole, raising someone up, and then severing their spine in two is always kind of fun. But we didn't see a lot of variation in animations, which is a little disheartening. Is that a pun? Because in the Darkness stuff we've seen, there's been a lot of variety. I mean, there's a lot of bloodlust there that's kind of spills over into all these little nooks and crannies of decapitation and weirdness that people eat up with a spoon.
So let me ask you a question. When I saw the game...
Oh, it looks way better on consoles now.
Yeah?
I saw this thing debuted on PC and it looked great. Then I saw it at PAX running definitely unoptimized. Definitely has a weird look. If you watch the trailer, the characters may look a little gimpy, but the overall effect on the consoles, they've definitely kicked it up a notch. It's not the fucking Vaseline smear that Duke Nukem was on consoles.
Well, when I saw it at E3 last year, the first thing I noticed was that there seemed to almost be a layer between the game world and then your avatar's arms, where you'd have the Darkness arms and everything, and it looked almost like there's a 3 or 4 feet gap, but it's almost like layered on.
But that's not a factor here because these characters, I didn't get to experience any of that. These characters, one has guns, one has a sword, one has a hat, like a boomerang hatchet.
Just,
and
in
stuff like
general,
that.
you can see their hands, though, I'm guessing. Yeah, I mean, did it
with
look...
the swords and stuff like that, and the guns, yeah.
Because remember
there's dual wielding and all that crap.
Well, remember the first time we all saw Skyrim, we all thought that, the combat was kind of floaty and it seemed a little bit disconnected, and then they kind of got it sorted. That was the same problem that I had when first time I saw The Darkness, that it seemed like your character was almost playing inside a bubble that was severing him from the real world.
I didn't feel anything like that. I mean, it felt kind of like maybe a slower paced first person shooter, maybe a little bit on the floaty side walking around, but I don't know. It was pretty much typical crosshair, aim down the sights combat.
How do the powers from the everything's a fucking RPG now segment work?
Well, I said there's you can throw down a black hole. Rapid. The character I chose the gun wielding Israeli Mossad agent, and she just shoots really fast. It was kind of lame. And then there's things like buff the other people you're playing with if they're within range of you and that stuff. But I didn't get to play enough to really see a lot of that stuff take effect, and I only played with one other person as opposed to the whole 4-player. I think I like that they're going in this direction, but kind of like in the first Darkness where they kind of threw on this multiplayer. I think does anyone even remember playing multiplayer in the first Darkness with the Darklings? No, it's completely forgotten. I'm curious if for a game that's definitely kind of like, mid-radar sort of thing, if this is maybe could maybe spent the resources somewhere else, like maybe beefing up the campaign or something like that, because I already know they're making this a much more linear kind of just story-driven based experience in the first game, which had a bit of exploration and whatnot.
I'm glad you brought up story, because I'm a big fan of the Darkness graphic novels. I've got a couple of them at home. They're very, it's great art, great storytelling.
They got some top cow guy. I want to say Paul Jenkins. I may be wrong. I know Mark Silvestri is still like overseeing a lot of this stuff, the creator of the Darkness, but they did full separate campaign for co-op, obviously, and they are having the top cow guys, pen it.
All right, next up, we've got one for the JRPG fans, because I know there are billions of you, and you all know how much I love these things. Mike D, it seems that Final Fantasy XIV is, apparently they feel they're in such a good position now that they can actually start charging cash money for people to play. How do you feel about this, Michael?
I honestly don't think that. I mean, at this point, I understand why Square Enix thinks they need to start charging people, because it's been over a year now since the game supposedly launched. Because I say supposedly because that game was not complete when it launched. This is like the longest glorified beta test. But
this is a beta test, though, that you had to pay for.
Yeah,
in
now
the
you're
first
basically
place,
paying for the beta test. And at this point, it's like I think Square Enix needs to start bringing in money for this, because it's been so long in development and they haven't gotten any sub fees from this. So starting on January 6th, if you want to play Final Fantasy XIV, you have to start paying a sub fee. And the only caveat to that is they are offering a discount. It's not going to be the full price that they originally were going to run with. It's like discounted a few dollars. I think it was like $12.99 for the original monthly.
I think it's originally $9.99, and the discount is $6.99.
But you have to pay for like extra character slots,
right?
Or something.
Yeah, there's like a $2 or $3 character.
So if you just want to play one character and that's it, I think it's only gonna be $6.99 for. I think for a lot of people at least run 2 characters in that game.
Oh, okay.
But they're giving you some kind of discount, but the bottom line is you have to start paying. And on the day before, on January 5th, to make sure that no one gets accidentally charged, they're actually going to force everyone to sign like a new agreement, re-enter their credit card information and stuff. So they're going to great lengths to make sure that you're going to have to start paying for it, and that you don't get like scammed into starting to pay for it. But you're going to have to pay for it until around, I believe it's mid-November, when they start the PS3 beta, and they're going to try and start launching version 2.0 beta, in which it goes back into a free trial again for a few months. And then
is there a diagram?
Yes, there is like a nice chart that they have. And then they it's sometime in 2013, I think it's around January, February.
They'll go free to play.
Version 2.0, which is probably should be called version 1.0 because it'll be done, will supposedly be ready to go. And they're going to go to their regular rates. So it's still over a year off. And you have to start paying for it again. And they're going to roll changes gradually through the next year until they get to like 2.0. So I don't know. I think at this point, like they're putting a lot of effort into it, and it's admirable that they're not giving up on it and trying to change it. But honestly, I feel at this point it's just so
is this
long
a rabid
gone.
Dog they should just
they should just like put it away and like let's put our resources into something else, because
this is the question. Is it? I mean, $6.99 is not a huge amount to pay every month for for an MMO, especially Final Fantasy. But is it worth it? Is the game in its current state worth $6.99?
Now, to be fair, since the game launched last year, they have implemented changes. After about January of last year, I didn't touch that game ever again. So I have not been in that game for, was it now like 8 months? So 8-9 months. So they've done several changes. I don't know how drastic they've been, so I don't know what the current state is. But I think Square Enix at least must see that there are still active people playing it, at least for free, and feel that there's some business model that it's still viable to try and start charging and salvage this. Otherwise, I think they would have pulled the plug. They must see some kind of like something I don't see that we don't see, because they have all the numbers there. But last I played it, it was nowhere near worth paying anything for.
So are you going to go back and give it a try now before the pay version comes in to see if it's worth it? Because I think it'd be worth looking at. I mean, I'd offer to do it myself, but I'm going to be playing Star Wars: The Old Republic. But yeah,
Yeah, it would be interesting to jump in, just see like what changes they've done. I mean, specifically like to the quest system, the transportation system. I mean, those are two of the biggest complaints, were like the limits on the quest you can do every day, how frustrating it was to like the warp system, your currency you used to pay, like it'd run out really fast, it regenerated way too slow. You're spending 90% of that game just running back and forth. So if they've made it a little bit more entertaining, like the quests are, you can do more quests. They're actually more than just running around and killing the same damn rabbit over and over again.
there you go. I'm going to give you a quest, young Michael D. Come back to us in January and let us know what your thoughts are, because in January people will be wondering, is it worth going to invest? I think that would be a great thing for you to come back and say, oh, it's a bag of ass, or it's cool.
What's Final Fantasy 14 divided by 2?
That would be I think that'd be Final Fantasy 7, and that was a segue and a half
And
there.
math.
Yeah,
That's our educational requirement.
yeah. I'm looking for a piece of turd on the floor I can throw at you, because that was really fucking pathetic. All right, Final Fantasy
my
7
part.
is being remade.
No, it's not.
No,
Not being remade.
It's a
It's being
fan
fan remade.
Yeah, it's really.
It's an homage.
It's so bad, and because it's obviously probably gonna have lawyers all over it very soon. We're not showing any of it right here, but yeah, somebody took the Unreal Engine and modeled some Final Fantasy characters, and then had a gameplay that had nothing to do with Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
This first-person view in the train yard and stuff, and they acted like it was already close to completion. And like, okay, it's pretty much a train wreck. And my thing is with this is that, like, I don't understand why these people don't learn their lesson. Like, if you're working on a remake of a Square franchise, don't show it to people till it's done, because
Exactly.
it's just gonna get shut down.
Remember the Chrono Trigger thing?
Or
Yeah,
just
Chrono
don't
Trigger was awesome.
just don't do it. Like
Period.
if you have the talent to go and make a game, make something original.
Exactly.
do
Yeah.
that.
I heard someone's making a pretty good version of Metroid 2, though.
A remake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There've been a couple of those.
That's been in the works.
Nintendo's
for a
a little
long,
bit
long
more
time.
generous, I think, in general with those fan games.
Well, in general,
Yeah.
have you ever talked to the guys who Mike? Have you ever talked to the guys who make the crazy Earthbound shirts?
Oh, the fan gamer guys.
Yeah,
yeah.
They like officially like talked to Nintendo, and Nintendo's like, oh, don't ask us. Like,
Yeah.
I've heard them in interviews. Like, it's a really weird kind of tenuous, like, it's almost like a don't ask, don't tell sort of thing.
Yeah, Nintendo is pretty laissez-faire when it comes to people kind of making homages to their products. What they don't
Wow.
like.
Couple of you're ramping up the French dictionary. Everybody look up laissez-faire.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Maybe it's that French accent imitation that just put my mind on a certain track. But yeah, I think Nintendo is really just kind of like, don't pirate our stuff, and that's cool. If you want to, I think they may have an issue if you had a Fangamer made a T-shirt with like Peach getting it in the ass or something like that. They might be like, maybe you shouldn't put
We're
that
all
on
nodding.
a shirt. Yeah. You've seen my sketches,
but they,
but yeah, I think Nintendo is kind of like let it be, as long as it doesn't step on our like software.
Square, on the other hand, I think
Yeah.
we've gotten a cease
Oh.
and desist from the
Who is?
Square actually
You?
sends
Brandon
Oh, really?
for the Final Fantasy retro.
I heard about that, yeah.
Square actually will send cease and desists to websites that have high-res logos of their products.
I saw something about
From
that.
what I've heard, I'm not. That's alleged, but yeah, I think Square Enix they're pretty. They have an iron fist when it comes to their IP.
So
An
going
iron
from
fist.
Yeah.
from Princess
wait,
Daisy getting it in the ass to an iron fist.
But on the Final Fantasy VII remake front, not to give anyone any more hope on that project, but there was an interview or a statement that came out of Square Enix a week or two ago that said a popular RPG series of ours, the 7th installment of it, will be getting a remake on 3DS. But they didn't say what, but most people think it's going to be Dragon Quest VII. That makes more sense.
And
yeah,
they did.
I
Well, they
pin your
did.
hopes to that.
They also
Yeah.
did license the Unreal 3 engine. Square Enix have
Also
not Unreal
Unity.
3, yeah, but they've just licensed the Unreal Engine. So maybe this isn't a fan remake at all. Maybe it's a
No, that's
cunning PR.
definitely a
That's not
PR
nice.
stuff.
That's, you can't toy with people like that.
Don't worry, we're getting 10 HD remakes
Sometime this
Yeah.
year. Who knows?
Right? Okay.
All right, so look, that one's
But now some good
a
news,
bit of a
right?
downer, but we do have some good news for those people who've been campaigning for a certain title to come to these fair shows. Xenoblade.
Yes, it looks like for once Nintendo actually listened to those petitions
Or they just
online.
looked at their calendar for 2012 and
Yeah,
like, oh crap.
That's the reality. Like, Wii U's not coming out till when now? What games are coming out next year? Yeah, maybe we should actually put this game already localized into English and other languages out in America, and just let's make it a GameStop exclusive and pre-order through our store only, so we minimize
They've
the
done
distribution.
this before, though,
run.
right? Like, wasn't the Chibi Robot game like Walmart?
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
Electroplankton was also like that. But
I just have this vision in my head of Reggie sitting up in his office with a Wii, holding it upside down and shaking it like a piggy bank. It's like, how can I get another $1 out of this? And look, I'm pleased for all the people who want the Xenoblade, because they've been campaigning for a good year or so, because the games I think have been released in Europe. They were localized out in Europe, and there are a couple of other games that they wanted to get.
A lot of people that have
as
played
well.
it are like making big claims, like it's the best JRPG of the generation and everything.
Yeah, some of the big newspapers from England actually gave it, like not game sites, but newspapers gave it pretty favorable reviews.
Well, I think it's about time they actually listen to the fans, because the fans have had short shrift this year on the Wii, and if there are these amazing titles that are going to cater to the hardcore fan base.
Also, JRPGs in general has been kind of a ghetto. Like if you want to play something on your couch, I mean, there's a lot of portable stuff, but.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest JRPG fan, I'll admit that, but there are thousands and thousands and thousands of people who are. And Nintendo, you do have a responsibility to people who buy your consoles, who do put the money in your back pockets. And, games like these, there was what were the other games? Was it Project Rainforest? Or
No.
Project Rainfall. Yeah, they had
Rainfall?
The Last Story is on there, which
Operation
is another one that
Rainfall.
should come. It's a Sakaguchi game, the guy that made Final Fantasy. It's also very innovative in its combat.
The Last Story.
Yeah.
Did the UK get the Pandora game as well?
They are getting both The Last Story and Pandora
Okay.
early
Pandora.
next
I
year
actually have
sometime.
a small interest in Pandora. I thought it
Um,
looked pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, with how late, because the tentative release date for Xenoblade is like sometime in April. Who knows if that's Nintendo didn't put out an official date, but the GameStop pre-orders say it's like early April. But
do you think they're just going to take the UK translation, or do you think they're going to run?
well,
it
the
through
trailer they put out has the UK voice actors, or the voice actors they used for the European edition. So.
Okay.
I
Interesting.
don't know why they would use that in the promotional materials unless they're still waiting to do VO, but it seems like they're doing like a very, focused, like, succinct like release for this game where they're going to maximize their profits. And I don't think the game's already localized. They're not going to put any more money into that game than they need to.
Okay, so last week I think we all collectively took a rather large dump on the Vita from a very great height for their memory card shenanigans. Now, a rumor has broken since then that Sony are going to be charging a little bit less for the Vita games via digital download, and this might be some way to, I suppose, compensate for the expensiveness of the memory cards. I read a story this week where it was almost 40% less to download the Vita games, digitally, as opposed to walking into the store. Thoughts from the crew?
Well, I want to bounce it right back to you, because I think, since you worked in PR, I think, people don't. It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But you talk about distribution and all the costs there. It takes gas to fuel those trucks that carry those games from the warehouse to the distribution centers.
Well, there's box production, there's manual production, all that fun stuff.
I'm always pissed off when they have the as much as I love Steam, and I know they always have like those 10% sales for pre-orders and stuff, but I always feel like I'm getting I bought StarCraft digitally, and I felt I was getting a little bit ripped off. Paying full price, literally full price.
I think digital
With no
downloads
physical
should,
component.
if you don't get a physical component, you should actually get it a little cheaper. But it is obviously a very complex situation where Sony need the GameStops and Best Buys of this world to sell the the machines at retail, and sell the memory cards, and sell all the peripherals, and then sell the games. And this is a rumor. This is a rumor that came out on Thrifty Gamer last week. So we've got to treat it with a huge grain of salt, because Sony do not comment on rumor and speculation, which is the standard PR line. But I could see this being a good balance for them, where all right, we're going to go to Best Buy and we're going to say to them, you need to stock the Vita, you need to stock the memory cards and the games. And while we are selling the games a little bit cheaper online, you're going to need to sell those memory cards, so people, you're still going to make the profit margin. Plus, for the likes of GameStop, they actually have a digital distribution center now, so they actually have started to bring this model on board, and so have the other major retailers. So if it's a kind of smart move where it kind of like evens things out.
Games are going to get released day and date, right?
Yeah.
Online. That's what makes it a little more interesting.
And it's kind of similar to the way it's going with the pay-per-view movies now, where there are so many movies hitting on pay-per-view day and date with Blu-ray. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, and I think it would be a good way to perhaps stimulate a little more interest in Vita. Although, Bloodworth, you have a little something that you want to talk about that might just be yet another bit of 2 steps forward, 96 steps back, and stab yourself in the head with a pink dildo.
I think Mike says he's known about this for a little while, but it's kind of come to light that the Vita will only allow you to have one PSN account per system. So
why are they saying? What's Sony's official reasoning for this?
have they said?
They didn't give any, but the
I
only
think
thing
some people found out.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is like on PS3 right now, you have multiple accounts. You can assign them to multiple territories. Like I have a Japan PSN account. I have a Hong Kong PSN account, and I can get access to content over in those regions through that. When I don't think they want, that's part of their new region lock.
But they don't have region locking on the games.
They don't have the
So-
games, but I think they're trying to tighten down on like the actual like network service, like restricting it to like regions. Because didn't they say like Vita, like if you had like what was it, some service, like if you had a service from another territory and you tried to bring it to your home territory, it would like not be compatible or something.
Yeah, well, a lot of
They're
those
trying to, like,
external
restrict that.
services are
Yeah.
like, when you go to Germany and you see the Sony press conference, they have a whole different array of like video services and things like that than we have here. And like Netflix is a pretty much American only thing.
Well, I think the other big reason is that if you have more than one child and you want to buy them both a Vita, you've got twin boys, and those boys want Vitas for to play next summer. You're going to need 2 PSN accounts.
Can you have more
Yeah.
than one Game Center account on an iPod Touch? Or
Um, never really activated my Game Center because I think it's kind of crap. So, but I know on Xbox you can have multiple accounts on the same Xbox, and obviously the same on the PS3. It'd be interesting to see if they actually switch that up on the PS3 now, where they actually try and lock
No,
that.
they couldn't.
They
do that
better
at this
not.
point.
I mean, they could do a firmware update probably, but that would piss.
Yeah, I
people
mean,
off.
I think a console.
lot-
I mean, everyone knows
Yeah.
that that's for a whole family. I think with Vita, maybe like that's a way, like kind of like how Pokemon on one save file. It's like, you want to catch them all. Then you better get your own copy for your other kid.
The thing that I don't understand about this is that Sony loves to be able to pad their PlayStation Network user accounts with people who have duplicates and throwaway accounts. This is really going to affect their press release padding, which is, I feel bad for them.
what are the PR people to do?
I
don't know.
Seriously, they might actually have to tell the truth for once. Shock horror. No, I think this is a silly move from Sony, and they just seem to be. What's that quote from Star Wars?
You'll never find it.
Well, no, Princess Leia's talking to Grand Moff
Force be with you.
Tarkin, and no, she's talking to Grand Moff
Oh,
Tarkin,
that's
and
like
it's
tighter you
the
grip.
tighter, the tighter you grip, the more systems will slip through your fingers. And I think this is a case what Sony's doing. The tighter they try and rail everything in, and you're only going to have one account,
Interesting.
and you have to have this,
I
this,
only
and this.
usually
I'm
hear
just
the
thinking.
Empire metaphor applied to Microsoft.
Sorry.
I only usually hear the Empire metaphor applied to Microsoft. So.
Well, it can
That's
apply
good.
to anybody, but I'm just saying that it's just the more they seem to grasp that, and tighter, the more people are getting turned off by the prospect of getting a Vita in the new year, which is kind of sucky. And it's out in Japan now, isn't it? It came out
No, it's
No,
out later this
like,
month.
later this month. Yeah, so that'll be
days,
interesting to see
10
how
days.
it goes next week. I mean, I think it'll will we see lines around the block for the Vita? There we go. Listen, there you go. Here's a pop quiz. Will we see lines around the block in Japan next week for the Vita? Ryan.
Shoot the hostage.
Is that Speed?
Yeah.
This one.
No.
No, Michael.
It depends on the size of the block.
And the width.
Yep.
Bloodworth.
It's handheld land. I mean, the PSP and the 3DS rule over there right now. It's a no-brainer. They're going to be all over that thing.
Damiani?
I'm going to agree with Blood on that. The only thing I could see is the Monster Hunter 3 comes out
on 3DS.
on 3DS, but I think that's too soon. I think it just depends. I'm sure they've cleared the PSP schedule because that thing still sells a ton over there. But yeah, I think, in Japan, they love their portables. They love Sony portables. I think initially it will sell out over there, but I don't think they'll have a strong correlation to what's going to happen over here in the West. It's never had a good correlation.
Yeah, I think it looked like there was some pretty healthy turnout for pre-orders. Like in Japan, people will line up to pre-order physically things at a store, which blows my mind. But yeah, it seemed like there was a pretty decent, response to that. So I'm sure there will be some lines.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I think that they are going to be quite a few lines, but I also think that's because the Japanese are batshit crazy. All right, it's time for a rant from Michael McWhirter.
All right, this is something that really chaps my ass. This is this week EA updated its Tetris version of Tetris for iOS, and it's a 99-cent download. But one thing that they've applied to it is a $30 a year subscription option. You could also pay $2.99 a month if you prefer to join Tetris Tea Club. Let me tell you what Tetris Tea Club is.
Is that like the Tetris Tea Party?
Well, I would.
All the blocks go to the right.
I'm going to refrain from from the political part of this, but so Tea Club is an elite Tetris fan club that gives members access to exclusive discounts and content, premium Tetris log challenges, and a booster to progress their Tetris rank faster. So you're paying $30 a month to rank up.
$30 a year, yeah?
I'm sorry, yeah, $30 a year to rank up in Tetris Tea Club. And, this is bullshit. Please, if you know anybody that is even considering downloading this, make sure that they do not pay any money for this. If you are considering dropping $30 on Tetris Tea Club, I would urge you to spend that money elsewhere.
For the 99 cents, can you play vanilla Tetris?
You can play vanilla Tetris, yeah. So
yeah, couldn't you buy 30 versions of Tetris for that kind of money?
Yes, go find the Tengen Tetris for NES, the superior Tetris.
You could buy the NES and the console
the
for
original
that.
Game Boy, man.
I mean, hell, it came free with the original Game Boy. That's what I did. I played it for such a long time on the original Game Boy. This is a little batshit crazy.
This is I think the really kind of industry damaging monetization of downloadable things that is really sucks. This is not Call of Duty Elite, okay? Because Call of Duty Elite is actually a pretty good option if you are a Call of Duty fan and you plan on downloading those map packs, because you're going to get these things for less, you're going to get them earlier, blah, blah, blah.
Well, doesn't this just seem stupid?
Yes.
I mean,
that's a good word
a real
for this.
baseline. I mean, it's fucking Tetris.
Well, on that,
it's just stupid.
On that thought, EA have released some other info this week, because apparently they're bringing Theme Park to iOS.
Yes, and if $30 is just too inexpensive for your blood, download Theme Park.
Yeah, if you have so much more money to spare, I mean, this is perfectly the perfect game for you. I mean, Theme Park, for those of you who are perhaps too young to remember it, classic Peter Molyneux PC game that you can actually get, I think, on Amazon for like $5.99 right now. It's a really fun sim-style game. And EA have this microcharge system where you have to unlock, to unlock certain rides, you have to buy the in-game tokens. Mm-hmm. And there is one ride, I think it's called the Skullbuster roller coaster or some variation thereof. And some people did the math and figured out that you would need $60 worth of real-world money to get enough tokens to unlock this ride.
See, this is horrible. But it's nowhere, at least Theme Park and the way we've seen these fucking microtransaction, Tiny Tower, Farmville, You Rule, We Rule, I don't know what the fuck they're called, games. Okay, this at least fits into the Venn diagram of not crazy, even if it's evil. Tetris is just fucking stupid.
Yes.
I mean, I realize this is like taking a giant shit on your game. I played Theme Park. I liked Theme Park. It was one of my favorite demo discs from PC Gamer back in the day. But
I'm with you. I think the Tetris...
But Tetris blows my mind and how just fucking stupid this is.
It's like EA are having meetings right now as to say, how evil can we get? How can we get to Bobby Kotick level of evil? But in their execution, they're not coming across, Star Wars reference again, as Emperor Palpatine. They're coming across as the Three Stooges trying to be evil. I mean, seriously, it's Larry, Curly, and Moe sitting in EA's head offices right now saying,
I think it's just
yeah,
Chef.
what can we do to fuck
Just
this up,
Chef.
eh?
Yeah, please
Shemp?
do not let them turn this into a money-making venture. I beg of you. Game
Protect
Trailers
your
listening
moms, because
audience.
it's your
Yes.
moms that are going to do this.
Well, not only that, somebody's kid is going to get hold of this, and then we'll have another, screaming fit because, he asked for my password, so I gave him my password 18 times. I didn't really know why, and now I have a phone bill for $675,000 and 3,000 Tetris T-shirts in
Or
my
the
house.
Tea Club.
I sometimes
get
I kind of
cucumber
think
sandwiches?
they put stuff like this out there just because there will be, 500 people that actually pay
Yeah.
for it. And it doesn't really matter because they're not doing anything. Like what you're saying is basically like heightens your stat tracking. I mean, it's not even. It's
Yes,
nothing. You're paying for nothing.
Okay, exclusive. Just to repeat, it's exclusive access, or members' access to exclusive discounts and content. So you have the
You're-
option to buy more things at a lower rate from.
You're buying
EA.
discounts. That's
Premium Tetris Log challenges. So Tetris Log is the Tetris equivalent of Autolog.
no.
And that I guess you come up with interesting new ways
There's
to
just
make
nothing
Tetrises.
there. You're paying for nothing. Somebody has set up
Oh,
a system
man.
for you to
Hey,
pay
you
for
guys-
nothing. And if you're stupid
Did
enough
anyone-
to give them your money, then you probably deserve it.
Did
Guys-
anyone play Tetris DS online?
Yeah.
And you
Yes.
play with people with fucking Game Sharks, and they just get the fucking long piece, and you get like infinite Tetrises on you?
I'm going to actually
Now you can
take
pay
what
for
Mike
it.
said a step further. If you know somebody who's considering buying this, you have two options. One, you can get them committed at the local loony bin, or two, you can just do them a big favor and slap some sense into them. And that's a wrap on Invisible Walls 188. Thanks to everybody who's chimed in
189.
today. 189?
I believe.
See, I'm going back in time. It's bizarre. A little bit of housekeeping. Unless you've been living under a rock, you will know that the Spike VGAs air tomorrow night on Spike TV. That's 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern. You can tune in half an hour early. There's a really spanky pre-show with some very, very interesting exclusive being announced. I am reliably informed that there's over 10 world exclusive reveals in the show tomorrow. Probably a bit more than that, but I get my figures wrong, and Jeff Keighley will come and smack me like a vengeful ghost. One last thing on the Xbox dashboard. Microsoft, I'm a gold subscriber. I don't appreciate seeing ads for World of Warcraft. Get your ads off my fucking dashboard. That's it for this week. Shane will be back next week. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks to everybody who's contributed to the show today. Follow Invisible Walls on Twitter. Take a look at all the other good things we have on GT. Invisible Walls is out the door. Au revoir.